Welcome to Behind the Curtain IMO. I'm Betsy Jordan. I keep bumping into these memes and phrases and quotes indicating that if Kamala could have done this, she would have done it in the last 3.5 years. That makes me laugh because Kamala has been working her tail off and Biden has been working his tail off too, and all in favor of the American people. Okay, so I'm not just going to say that to you because Behind the Curtain IMO is formed because I want to peel back the layers here of where some of this idea is coming from, right? They want to say that Kamala's inexperienced, but that is a distraction because Trump had less experience than Kamala does in her little finger, right? Trump's experience was being on The Apprentice and filing bankruptcy several different times, which means he didn't pay his creditors. You gotta understand, that's what it means. So I personally had trouble in the last real estate crash, and I could have filed personal bankruptcy, but I didn't. Some of that was personal pride. I didn't want to admit that I couldn't get it done, but a lot of it was, I owe these people this money. I do. And also, my spiritual beliefs are that that's bad karma, right? And so I think you'll find that it is bad karma to not pay your creditors, because that means, some people are not going to loan you any money going forward. Now, I don't have that trouble anymore, but also, and some people still are struggling with that. And I understand what that feels like. There's nothing worse really, except for dire illness in your family. So Kamala was a prosecuting attorney. She was tougher on crime. And some messages in the Black community was she put away more Black people than anyone else. That's not entirely the whole story. She did honor the law, but she also found and developed a pathway towards service and getting back into life for people who were incarcerated. So this is a woman who plays by the rules, but also gives people hope. And the emphasis is on the hope, right? If you look at her tie-breaking vote record in the Senate, you will see what she wanted to do. Now, a lot of the good that the Senate was going to do was thwarted in Congress by yours truly. And he didn't just thwart Democrats. He thwarted well-meaning conservative Republicans who wanted to do right by their constituents, particularly when it came to developing a clear path to citizenship for immigrants. So that bipartisan deal was killed by none other than yours truly. Kamala talks about working at McDonald's, right? She's saying, I identify with a lot of Americans because I was raised to work and I worked in a minimum wage job, and here's Trump going to McDonald's to work doing French fries. I don't know why. To prove that he could do it? To prove that he knew what was going on behind the scenes? And then what he said at the window to people who were filming him, right? Because it was a photo op. Make no mistake about that. He said, they don't take the French fries out with their hands. Really? He said that. And he's going to say that was a joke. But if you watch him, he's just talking off the top of his head. Now, one of the things that kept happening is Trump kept saying, my economy's the best ever. I'm making America great again. Like something was wrong with America. Don't let anybody convince you that America's broken, because it isn't. Because you and me, we're here. As long as we are, it isn't broken. So Trump's out there saying, people aren't putting French fries in the bag with their hands. Of course not. Not only does that make no sense on the sanitary basis, it doesn't make sense because hot oil will burn your hands. Ridiculous. But the fact that he does talk off the top of his head, let me just paint this picture for you. Okay, so Trump's saying, we got the strongest economy ever. These people are my friends, all these dictators, authoritarian leaders, right? And sometimes he's very aware that everybody in the world is listening to him. So he sends messages to Putin, no question about it. That last debate proved that. The last debate he had with Biden proves that. And you can go back and look at what he says about Evan Gershkovich, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So some of this talking out the top of his head is a diversion, but some of it is because he is old and unstable and unfit. But let me just illustrate a distinction, okay? So he's saying he's got the best economy in the world. Biden is saying, why do the American people not understand that the economy is strong? We have the strongest economy in the world. I've created all these jobs. The infrastructure bill has provided so much opportunity for people. And this is why. You don't understand that because Biden doesn't go and boast about it. Biden is by nature presidential. He is aware in every moment that he's being watched by not just American people or the press, but by people around the world. So he's very clear on his moment in history and how he wants people around the world to see this country. And Kamala Harris shares that. She knows that she's being watched by the world. Trump acts like he's a frat boy. And I don't mean that in a complimentary way, though I do know very respectable frat boys. I mean it in the worst way. And y'all know what I'm talking about, where it's all chummy. And you don't care what you say because you're among friends. And you're entitled to say whatever you want to say, no matter who it insults. And they need to understand it's just a joke. So Kamala Harris has been working very, very hard. Donald Trump has been working very hard to get photo ops at Arlington Cemetery against regulations, at hurricane sites when he's been asked not to come because he stalled emergency relief efforts, and now at freaking McDonald's where he's insulting the employees there and the intelligence of the American people by being such a jokester. I don't want this clown as my president. Seriously. And I'm sorry to call him a clown, but I mean, if he's joking around like that, I guess that's how he wants to be seen. This is Behind the Curtain, IMO. Thank you for being here.